Hello and welcome back to The World According to Reece, where I talk about life as a blind and autistic creator and the technology that helps remove barriers. Today I want to talk about screen readers. Screen readers are the technology that allows me to use computers and smartphones in the first place. Without them, most modern technology would simply be inaccessible to me. I've talked about screen readers briefly in previous videos, but today I want to go a bit deeper and discuss some of the things sighted people often don't realise about how they actually work. So a screen reader is software that reads out what's on the screen using speech or braille. For example, on Apple devices, the screen reader is called VoiceOver, and on Windows computers, many people use JAWS or NVDA. Instead of seeing menus, buttons and text, I hear them spoken aloud. But using a screen reader is not just about listening, it's about navigating information in a completely different way. One thing many sighted people don't realise is that blind users usually rely on the keyboard rather than the mouse. A mouse depends on visual positioning. You move a pointer around the screen and click on things you can see. But when you're using a screen reader, the keyboard is much more efficient. We use keyboard shortcuts to move through different elements on a page. For example, we can jump between headings, links, buttons, or form fields. This allows us to move around a web page very quickly without needing to visually scan the page. Because of this, many blind users also learn touch typing, which means typing without looking at the keyboard. This ultimately allows us to interact with the computer much faster. Another thing people often find surprising is how fast screen readers can speak. Most people are used to hearing speech at a normal speed, but experienced screen reader users often increase the speech rate significantly. At first, this can sound extremely fast to someone who isn't used to it, but over time, your brain adapts and it becomes easier to process the spoken information more quickly. In fact, listening at faster speeds can actually make navigating large amounts of text much more efficient. Something else sighted people often assume is that screen readers automatically describe everything perfectly. And while this would be amazing, unfortunately, that isn't always the case. You see, screen readers rely on websites, apps, and documents being designed accessibly. If something hasn't been labelled correctly, the screen reader may not be able to interpret it properly. For example, sometimes a button might simply be read as button without any description of what it does, or a document might contain images or diagrams that the screen reader cannot explain. When this happens, I sometimes use other tools to help fill in the gaps. For example, I might upload a document into ChatGPT and ask for a description of diagrams or visual information. This can be particularly useful if I'm dealing with something like a PDF that contains charts, images, or complex layouts. ChatGPT will provide a text description of the information I have asked about, and the screen reader should then be able to read the text on screen. And as I mentioned in a previous video, if I need more detailed visual interpretation, I can also use Aira, which connects me with a trained visual interpreter who can describe what's on the screens. So in practice, accessibility often involves a combination of different tools working together. What many people don't realise is that screen readers completely change the way information is experienced. Instead of scanning visually, we navigate by structure, headings, links, and keyboard commands. It's a different way of interacting with technology. But when things are designed accessibly, it can be incredibly powerful. Screen readers are what make it possible for me and many other blind people to use modern technology. And while they aren't perfect, they open the door to education, work, creativity, and communication. If you found this video interesting, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on The World According to Reece.